Good morning. How are you? Well, it's chilly today, so I'm maybe even overdressed. I don't feel like being chilly. So, well, for all the talk of what we may or may not accomplish, yesterday we got $1 trillion on the table from a Congress that has had difficulty, first of all, the Democrats agreeing among themselves, and the Republicans agreeing to anything at all. In fact, I have to presume there must be more Republicans who agree with some of these things, but the discipline is great to do nothing, and they should be punished in the midterm elections for that. But let's take a look at the $1 trillion for infrastructure. The Trump administration, when it came into office in 2016, they were going to get $1 trillion for infrastructure, and Schumer agreed with them. But it didn't happen. The bill went nowhere, and there never was an agreement. So it takes Biden in 2021, at the end of the sausage-making machine, the Congress, to get one part of his legislative package through, which is still very substantial, and it's $1.2 trillion. So it's bigger than what Trump proposed that he never got in place. So what we're talking about is roads, bridges, ports, bandwidth, something that people who've dealt with their ability to access the internet during the pandemic know makes a big difference. The vote last night was 228 to 206. That means 10 Republicans crossed over and supported the bill. That's important, but why isn't it overwhelming? This was supposedly a bipartisan bill passed in the Senate, and we can only pick up 10 Republicans in the House, and good for them that they did it. But where's the rest of the team? Also, in terms of, statistics, some portions of the bill, nothing has happened for more than 50 years on this kind of a subject. So you can't lose that. Now, in the 1950s, it was Eisenhower who came up with the highway bill, and there's a whole series of proposals he had while he was president. And I think in part it's because he saw what happened and was necessary in Europe for highways, unfortunately, for military reasons, but also how do you get around in terms of defense if you're on the defensive part of the equation? We can't ignore that we had 531,000 new jobs in the report on Friday. So Biden is legitimately taking a victory lap out of this muddle that is how we pass legislation. And I think everybody could kick themselves that this didn't happen a week sooner. And I wonder how much of it is the travel. I wonder how much did the Congress learn from the election that people were sick of them just talking and not actually accomplishing anything. So there's all of that. Okay, now let's do the underbelly. So what's wrong with where we are? Well, the fact that they passed this bipartisan bill may make it harder, despite any of the oral assurances from Dems or Rs that they're going to support the reconciliation bill in the Senate, which requires every Democrat in the caucus, all 50, plus the vice president to support it. So I don't know if we're going to lose the $1.75 trillion, but that's where we go next. That's the next fight. And I would like to be overcome and surprised by the fact that we pass any part of that, because consider the significance of the investment in America. This is really important. In the meantime, and I don't want to belabor the point, but the investigation that leads to a reckoning is still kind of dragging along. And I think the people, that's us, if we keep pushing it, maybe we'll have a similar reaction to the fact that this bill finally got passed, which is part of the package. That is to say that it was the population saying, enough talk, get something done. You got elected to do this, and you're not doing it. And I think that that was important for that reason. We have to continue to talk about the reckoning. I think you hear it more and more on the news shows and by commentators who before never thought we should be doing anything about those people who aided and abetted the insurrection in America. And we can tell from the Virginia election, these people have not gone away, that this is going to continue to be a problem in the nation. So we have to pay attention to it. And the latest example of things gone wrong by these people is how they use their command centers in D.C. to prepare for what became the insurrection, and how they were trying to steal the vote themselves rather than accuse others of stealing the vote. And so we have them all at the Willard spending this money and so forth. Now, the significance of it in terms of the House Select Committee is that it gives them grist for their mill. But it also helps in one of the legal arguments, because if campaign funds are being spent on these matters that the Select Committee or even the Justice Department, if they ever wake up, would look into, the claim of an executive privilege is really hard to make. And the fact that it's hard to make means that it's not legally possible to make. How can you say it's executive privilege for the administration of office when it's really about campaigning, and campaigning for something that's illegal, which is to overthrow an election legally obtained when Trump had been beaten like a drum in the election? So it's nice to have a sunny day here and a sunny day in developments on the Hill, and some investigative steps that are useful. So again, yes, I'm dressed a little bit, but that's the way it is. It's a beautiful day out here. And if you were with me, we could sing on the road. My voice is not so good, but I could conceal myself in a choir. So all the best. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.